when you run a business, there are a lot of boxes to check.
Let's see. Payroll? Check. Inventory? Check. Insurance?
Well, Good Thing Simply Business makes getting small business insurance fast and easy. Just answer a few questions, review your quotes, and get covered in under 10 minutes, all online. It's that simple. Check insurance off your list at simplybusiness.com.
One of the biggest challenges of earning a degree as a military veteran is transitioning your goals and experiences to your next phase in life. National University gets it. As a veteran-founded Yellow Ribbon School, they offer post-9/11 GI Bill acceptance, dedicated military support and advising services, and credit for your military experience. That's why 30% of their students are military affiliated. NU, education that serves those who served.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, your host today on a Sunday. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope the weather's cooperating for you wherever you guys are at right now. Just going to do a quick microcast here today. I'm actually recording this on Saturday morning, getting everything prepped and ready for you guys to watch and listen to this episode on Sunday. I've got more content that I'm really excited to dive into for you guys coming up next week, or I guess this coming week, depending on how you like to phrase those things. I always argue about that with my wife. Is it this week, this coming week, next week? We never know what we're talking about, but either way. You know, there's a show I'm going to do. I'm putting together my notes and my outline and everything, talking about the players that the Browns could potentially draft at 6 or 24 in the first round with either of those first round picks that aren't the guys being primarily talked about. So it's not the receivers, it's not the O-linemen, the tackles and things like that. It's what if we walk up there to the draft board, to the podium on April 23rd and take somebody else? So who could those somebody else's be? I'm putting that together for you guys. We're going to talk about it. At least get familiar with the other names, some of these guys in the first round that potentially could surprise us, kind of like Mason Graham surprised us last year. So I'm going to be doing that one. I want to put together an episode as well, going through the offensive linemen. Primarily the tackles. We'll probably be talking about guys in rounds 1, 2, and 3 that I like, that people are high on in the mock draft database world and all that. We'll talk about them, some of the guards, and go from there. But I want to get familiar also with the O-linemen, kind of like I already did with the wide receivers. Today, I've got voicemails. Got voicemails from you guys asking some great questions, making some good points, and I just want to touch on these things, hit on them before time moves too fast here and the voicemails become outdated. So I appreciate you guys sending them in. We're going to get to them. And if you want to get your voicemails, questions, thoughts, opinions, your takes on the show, go to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. You can send us a message. If you just want to type something up, actually, I'm glad I just reminded myself of that because I do have a message here from the website that I want to read. And let me scroll down here. So this, actually, I'll just do it right now, just to give you guys a good example. This is off the cuff. This is from Andrew. He sent this message in from the website. He says, hey guys, it's Andrew from Newcastle, UK. Oh, speaking of UK, I've got a podcast I'm going to record tomorrow, which is today for you guys on Sunday, with the UK Browns fan. If you guys don't follow him on X, go check him out. Really great content on there. He's got a YouTube channel and everything. So I'm going to be on his channel. He's going to be on our show. So you guys will see that as well this week. He had some internet issues and stuff working this morning, so we're going to do it tomorrow. But anyway, back to Andrew's message here. AKA, my name is Wardy in the Discord. Again, if you guys want to join our Discord, go to jointhedogs.com. We got a message about that later. Awesome place to be. And obviously now Wardy in the Discord is Andrew from Newcastle, UK. And Andrew says, now that the dust is starting to settle from free agency, I think Andrew Berry has done a decent job of putting together an improved offensive line on paper, that is. I'm glad you made that distinction. He says, I particularly like the Elgton Jenkins signing, and I think he can provide us with some high-level play. Do you think our signings of 2 guards is indicative that they're expecting Bitonio to retire? Obviously, the money given to Zion almost guarantees he's penciled in as a starter, but I think the fact Tevin Jenkins was only given another 1-year deal may mean there's some hope Bitonio returns. Let me just address that because he's got a second question here. So let me just address that real quick. I'm not expecting Joel Bitonio back. And I feel like the recent vibes online that I've been reading from some beat reporters and insiders point to maybe he goes and plays somewhere else this year. We haven't gotten a retirement announcement yet, and we are almost to April. It's almost draft time. He might be waiting. There's no rush for Joel Bitonio to announce a retirement. There's not like a retirement deadline in the NFL. You can announce a retirement anytime you want to. And I just saw T.Y. Hilton announce his retirement. I'm like, T.Y. Hilton? He didn't retire yet? So I guess that's official now. He's like 49 years old. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that was a name that just jumped out of the blue. Time out. Let me turn this light off. There, that's better. I always forget this overhead light. I always forget to turn it off because it makes this orange microphone look very yellow on the camera. But anyhow, so Joel Bitonio, again, don't think there's a hard retirement deadline or anything, and we'll see if he ends up playing somewhere else. I do not expect him back in any capacity with the Browns. I think that is done. I think his time here is over. I think, obviously, Zion Johnson will be a starter on this Browns offensive line. Tevin Jenkins, again, same contract essentially as what they gave him last year. So to me, that points to Tevin Jenkins could be depth. Tevin Jenkins could be a starter. They obviously put him in to start, had him rotating in with Wyatt Teller and things like that. And you started a few games toward the end of the season. So starter potential, but I'm not listing him whenever I see everybody put, well, here's the new Browns offensive line based on who we signed. They got Tevin Jenkins, new starting right guard. I'm not doing that yet. I'm not going to do that yet until we go through the draft and the rest of free agency. There's still guys out there. Dylan Parham. I still have not seen anybody sign Dylan Parham from the Las Vegas Raiders. He's a guy I would love to see the Browns take a swing on and bring in here and add to this roster. I think that would bolster this offensive line unit quite a bit. And then you would have the luxury of having Tevin Jenkins, who, again, could be a starter, but then you can have him be a depth piece. Play across that offensive line on the interior for you. So, no, kind of getting to the root of that question, I don't think Joel Bitonio is coming back to the Browns in 2026. Secondly, Andrew says, I think taking Monroe Freeling at 6 is looking more likely. I think it's a bit of a reach, but he does appear to be the best left tackle in the draft, and we wouldn't want to risk him falling to 24 or not falling to 24. If we don't trade for Brian Thomas Jr. or Marvin Harrison Jr., then we must use pick 24 on a wide receiver. I think we'll need to double down at wide receiver with our early second-round pick, too, as well. We need to give Shedeur as many weapons as possible and move Judy as far down the depth chart as we can. Go Browns. Thank you, Andrew, for the message. It's funny. There's such a Browns Twitter, Brown social media, we can't do anything without fighting about it. It's got to be a war. It's got to be two sides. You have to pick a side, and you got to battle. You got to go to war for your side. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm in the camp of, I think Monroe Freeling is definitely a reach at 6. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's ready to come in, start at left tackle. And here's the thing. I see people post this kind of stuff all the time. Monroe Freeling has the skill set. He's got the measurables, the athleticism. I mean, he's 6'8", 315, so he needs to add some muscle mass, add some weight to him. But he's got the size. He's got everything you want in a left tackle, but he just needs time to develop. Maybe he needs to sit behind a DeJuan Jones for a year. This is the stuff I see. Or somebody else and really develop into that left tackle. That won't happen in Cleveland. If he's not put in there as the day one starter at left tackle, it'll be 3 games until DeJuan Jones is on IR and he's now forced into the starting spot. Argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong about that. This stuff might work with good organizations. It might work better with good rosters that have the depth and have the luxury of bringing a guy like Freeling in with a higher pick, but letting him sit and develop. It ain't going to happen here. It will not happen here. If you draft Freeling at 6 or at all, trade back to 10 and draft him, whatever scenario people want to throw out there. If you draft Monroe Freeling, he will start this year. Maybe not week 1. Maybe they do have DeJuan Jones start, but it won't be very long until he's out of the lineup because he's hurt again. That's what's going to happen. You know it. But I do think it's a reach for him at 6. And I am in the camp of take Carnell Tate or whoever your top receiver is on your board at 6 and get that wide receiver 1. Speaking to the war on social media, you're either team wide receiver, you're either team offensive tackle, and if you don't agree, the other one is so wrong. Honestly, I don't really care what they do at 6 as long as they get something to help this offense. That's where I'm at. Obviously, I prefer the wide receiver. I prefer Carnell Tate. If they come out, pick 6, they're taking Monroe Freeling, left tackle out of Georgia. Okay, not the pick I would have made. Still happy about it because it helps our offense. Let's roll. That's where I'm at. Just help our offense. Now, there's also a possibility, and that's why I'm putting together the episode for later this week about what if they don't take an offensive player. We'll talk about that as well. Either way, pick 6 needs to be utilized to take the best player to help this team long-term because that is the type of pick, that's the type of capital asset, high-value asset where you get a guy who you're very confident is going to excel in his role, become a Pro Bowl type of player, and you're expecting to give this guy a second contract extension with your team. That is pick 6. Not so much pick 24. Pick 24, it's not, you don't go very far into the draft till you start hitting crapshoot range with these picks. Pick 6 you need to be damn sure you're getting a dog, a core piece of your team. So if they come out and they say, we think that's David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech because he's on the board. We think that's more likely to be him than it is Monroe Freeling or Carnell Tate. Then that's what they're going to do. So thank you, Andrew, for the message here. Again, if you guys want to leave messages, leave voicemails, go to thedogspodcast.com and send them in.
This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?
Hey, this is Bayard Winthrop, founder of American Giant. Back in 2011, I was fed up, sick of cheap disposable clothes that fell apart after a few washes, and even more sick of the fact that almost nothing good was made here anymore. So I started American Giant to prove something, that we could still make the absolute best hoodies, t-shirts, and pants right here in America, with American cotton, American factories, and American workers earning real wages. We exist to bring manufacturing home, create good jobs in towns that need them, and build clothes that actually last. No shortcuts, no overseas compromises. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code GIANT20 at american-giant.com. That's 20% off when you use code GIANT20 at american-giant.com.
Craving the coffee flavor you love, but without the caffeine? Kachava's got you covered with their newest coffee flavor. This all-in-one nutrition shake delivers bold, authentic flavor, crafted from premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans. With 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. Treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body craves. Go to kachava.com and use code NEWS. New customers get 15% off their first order. That's KACHAVA.com, code NEWS.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
First voicemail I'm going to get to today. Let's see. I got 4 of them queued up here. Let's kick things off here with our boy Zach, or as we love to call him, Fake Burns.
What's up? It's Zach, aka Fake Burns. I haven't submitted one of these in a while. Haven't really had the time, but I've been keeping up with the podcast, paying attention to free agency, all the new rumors, news with that, keeping up with draft hype and everything like that. And something I really haven't seen anywhere on social media and the media on this podcast. I know someone just recently mentioned him in their voicemail, but it wasn't like the main point of their voicemail, is Isaiah Bond. Don't get me wrong. I am so high on taking a receiver in this draft, especially with our 6th pick. I want Tate no matter what. If he's not available, I want Tyson or Lemon. I think obviously those 3 are not going in the first 5 picks before us. So I think it's a win if we come out with one of them. But I just feel like no one's really talking about Bond the way they should be. I mean, the guy was supposed to be a 2nd round pick last year before all the off field stuff happened, and all that's behind him now. I thought he played really well when he was out there, especially with Shedeur. Shedeur likes throwing to him. So I don't know. I just kind of want to know how we feeling about Bond. I truly feel like he's a raw talent that could be really, really good. Easily our wide receiver too. Definitely better than Judy. But I just think we're not talking about him enough. I don't know. What do you guys think? Go Browns. Hoo hoo.
All right, Zach, thanks, man. Appreciate the voicemail. Yes, Isaiah Bond is definitely a guy to keep an eye on, to talk about as part of this wide receiver rotation in 2026, because he will be. This team has invested nothing so far, and it's not so much an indictment on anything. It's just the way it is. I've talked about this, especially this first wave, 2 waves, first 2 weeks of free agency. You're going to overpay out the wazoo for the top wide receivers in free agency. It's just what happens. Justin mentioned it on the live show the other night, or the Discord show. Look what Romeo Doubs got from the Patriots. Romeo Doubs has never, been a number 1 wide receiver for his team. Obviously played his rookie contract with the Green Bay Packers. He was never the 1. Hell, he was never really the 2. There were games where he operated as the go-to target. There were games where he had big plays and big stats. There were games where he was a nothing burger. He is not solidified in any high-end wide receiver role whatsoever in Green Bay, but he got paid like it in New England. So they're paying guys off of expectations rather than what you've already proven you can do. And free agency is just a bad place to do that. And it's why the Browns have avoided it. We just don't have it's just not smart. It's just not smart moves. Sometimes you have to take those swings based on how your roster looks and what you need in the draft and what you think you can get. But this team is not in a position to do that. So they didn't, and it makes sense. But that's because guys like Isaiah Bond, there is an expectation there that he's going to be a bigger contributor in the offense. Now, going back, it's really hard to look at what he did last year in the NFL because the offense was just so freaking bad, and he didn't have training camp. He didn't have the preseason. He was signed so late into the process after his legal situation off the field stuff got pushed aside or went away and everything. And the Browns they had him in for a top 30 visit. They were clearly interested in him in the process. And so they ended up getting him, stayed in touch with him throughout the whole legal proceeding and all that stuff. And then he became a Cleveland Brown. They signed him to a 3-year deal right off the rip, fully guaranteed, if I remember correctly. Don't remember the amount, but it locked him in as a receiver for this roster. Last year, rookie season, 42 targets, 18 receptions, just 18 receptions on 42 targets. That's actually very, very low. Just a 43% reception rate on his targets. A lot of uncatchable balls last year from Browns quarterbacks. 338 yards, however, on 18 receptions was good for almost 19 yards a catch. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He's definitely a deep threat. And no touchdowns scored. Let's see, what did he do? I'm just kind of rolling through his stats here for you guys. What did he do after the catch? Yards after the catch, only 84 of those 338 came after the catch, only 4.7 yak per reception. So not doing a lot with the ball after he catches it. Again, most of those receptions were long, deep shots where you're catching the ball down the field, you're getting tackled immediately, or they're, well, not in his case, but a lot of times those go right into the end zone, and there are no yards after the catch to be had. A lot of sideline stuff. He was very scheme versatile, Isaiah Bond, last year. He had 45.5% of his routes out of the slot, 54.2 out wide. So almost a 50-50 split, 45-55 split between inside, outside. So he's got that versatility. He's obviously the deep threat, like I've mentioned. He had a long of 52, just one drop on those 42 targets. 6 out of 12 contested catches for 50% rate. Not bad for a guy his size. And what really, ADOT was 17, again, just shows how deep down the field he was getting, but a 0.98 yards per route run. He was under, you guys know I harp on yards per route run like crazy, and 2 is the minimum threshold. That's like that. If you're under 2, I can't really endorse having you. I don't really like guys under 2. I like guys around that 2.25 to 2.5 range, and if you're over 2.5, you're a dog, and I love you. This guy was under 1. Now he's 5'11", 180. I think that there's some very good potential for Isaiah Bond in the offense, but I don't think he's going to ever be like a number 2 wide receiver in the offense. I think he's going to be a key contributor to the wide receiver room. And I'm trying to think of a good example of a player like that. I don't think he's a guy that you're going to be putting out there in 2 wide receiver sets with any sort of consistency. It's 3 wide receiver sets when you're going to see him probably still rotating in and off the field. When he was in college, if we want to go back and look more at those stats, since the rookie year was so different for him, again, no training camp, no preseason, all that kind of got thrown in there at the last minute. So some of the inefficiencies in his game from 2025 can obviously be excused away, which we do for a lot of players on the offense last year because it was so bad. But if we go back and we look at college, when he was at Alabama in 2022, 2023, this is a guy that never really had a college breakout. His biggest season, 2023 at Alabama, caught 49 passes for 671 yards, 4 touchdowns. In 2024, the last year in college at Texas, he transferred over there, just caught 34 passes, 540 yards, 5 touchdowns. The college production is not even close to indicative of like this guy could have a big NFL future. Could he be a good contributing wide receiver? Yet career yards per route run in college, just 1.73. So again, looking for guys over 2 for their career. Looking for guys that are over 2 for their career. He was only over 2 one season in college, and it was that 2023 season, and he was 2.02. So barely over 2, but like I said, just a 1.73 for his career. I like Isaiah Bond, but we need help. We need more help than just him. I'm not relying on Isaiah Bond as, hey, this guy could turn into the wide receiver too. If that were to happen, that would be great. I don't see it happening, and I'm not expecting that kind of thing to happen. I expect him to be a key contributor to the wide receiver room, a nice rotational piece that has a role, fills his role, and does it very well. But we need top guys. We need a wide receiver 1, and we need a wide receiver 2. We need somebody else that can be a sure-handed, reliable go-to target. And I'm with I think it was Andrew earlier. Push Jerry Jeudy as far down the depth chart as possible. I'm not a Jerry Jeudy guy. I know that there's people out there with hope for Jeudy, and I get it. He's definitely a very talented receiver. He lacks the consistency that I need. All right, let's kick it over to this voicemail from Gabriel.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to speak with you again. What is up, Dogs Podcast? It is your friendly Buccaneers fan, Gabriel, back. I decided to do another little singing rendition because right now, as a Buccaneers fan, that is definitely the definition. Darkness is back. With Mike Evans departing and still no word whether or not Levante David is coming back. So definitely darkness has come. And I just don't know what to think anymore about my team and the optimism I once had for my team. Also, I wanted to do that just to challenge Brad Moneymaker to come back out and do another singing voicemail. So your play, Brad. But anyways, one thing I wanted to ask was, in my simulations, I took Skylar Bell in the second round. Do you think he goes that high, or do you think he's still like a third or fourth round receiver? But anyways, I just wanted to ask you that, and go Dogs Podcast and go Browns. Ho, ho!
All right, Gabriel, thank you for the voicemail. And man, I'm telling you, you are coming on the wrong show if you want to be talking about Hello Darkness, my old friend, with your NFL team. That is Browns fan. That is number one on our biggest hits playlist, man. And I think Brad has done his rendition of that song multiple times during the season the last 2 years. But I'm with you. I know things in Tampa Bay look a little weird right now, but I appreciate you tuning into our show. And I know I got a message I'm going to play from you here in a little bit, and your interest in the dog pack and being part of the community, and that's really awesome as well. Your question about Skylar Bell, it's so hard with wide receivers because, you know, like if you look at Mock Draft Database, which is where I like to go for a lot of my projections with these players, because it's obviously nothing is perfect. No, there's no perfect indicator where guys are going to go. I don't remember where they had a guy like Isaac Tesla going last year. I think he was fourth, maybe early fifth round projection, ended up going in the third. Detroit Lions just loved him, went up and got him. So a guy like Skylar Bell could very easily go in the back of the second round. Maybe a team is like, we got to have Skylar Bell. We're doing it. We're taking him. And they just go do it. That's very possible. Third round would be my prediction, though. I still think, they got him slotted in here right now at 82. In the third round, I think middle of the third round might be the spot for Skylar Bell. It's the fact that he's an older prospect. He's going to be 24 as a rookie. Okay, so that, as much as I like Skylar Bell, and I've done podcasts talking about him, I took him in my last mock draft on the show. 24-year-old rookie coming out of a small school at UConn. He's probably not on Andrew Berry's board. I think those components will probably move him off of the board for Andrew Berry. He just does not. He'll push the age guardrail a little bit. I don't know if he'll push it to 24. That's pushing it. He'll push the guardrail for small school guys a little bit. I think last year, taking Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green was only the third time that Andrew Berry has taken a player that wasn't from a Power 4 school. I don't know if he takes Skylar Bell this year. Those two things are some big knocks on him from that perspective. Obviously, one of the most productive wide receivers in the entire country last year. I think what did I say? He was second in yards, fourth in receptions in the entire nation. Both marks are number one in the entire draft class for wide receivers this year. But I just don't know if it happens. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a decent player in the NFL. But he might not be on the Browns board. We'll see how it goes. Maybe he'll end up down there in Tampa Bay with you guys. I know, Gabriel, you're going to have to call back in. Let me know. This is more of a fantasy football question. How do you feel about your wide receiver core right now? Is Emeka Egbuka slotted in as the wide receiver one, or do you think Chris Godwin's going to be that for now? I know he's old. That's the thing with Chris Godwin. He's old. He's always hurt. And where does Jalen McMillan factor into this? Because I've got Jalen McMillan on a couple dynasty rosters, and I'm hoping that this means we get back to the 2024 production where he just popped off the second half of the year and looked like he was going to be a dude.
And then I forget, did he play at all last year? I know he had that neck injury, but whatever. I'm talking too much Tampa Bay Buccaneer stuff. So this episode is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. Browns fans, do you ever feel stuck in your current job? Like if you just had a different degree or some more education in a certain area, you could do something you really want to do. Well, Southern New Hampshire University has the answers for you. Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your new career today. SNHU is one of the largest online accredited universities in the United States, and it's radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Head over to snhu.edu/bark to learn how you can get started on your degree for your new career, 100% online and 100% on your time. snhu.edu/bark.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, AlumaGuard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
Appreciate hearing from you, Gabriel. Justin is up next, and Justin is going to give us his most recent mock draft.
What's up, Dog Podcast? Browns fan out here in Jersey. Did a mock draft, went a different route. Before I let you know who I picked, want to let you know I'm all in on Shedeur. He should and will be the starter for the Browns coming up this season. But here's who I took. Carnell Tate at 6, Omar Cooper Jr. at 24, round 2, Zion Young, and round 3, Ty Simpson. Everything we did the offensive line, I think we could go 2 receivers and be very excited to take Carnell Tate and Omar Cooper if they're both available at, those picks. Zion Young, you can line them up opposite side of Myles Garrett, and then you have Myles Garrett and Zion Young flying around the edges with Carson Swetzinger and Quincy Williams in the linebacker midfield. And then Ty Simpson with the round 3 pick. Just your thoughts on possibly taking him there if he's in the 3rd round to fill that extra quarterback slot. You know what I mean? And kind of maybe have him in there. I just want to know your thoughts are on taking essentially Omar Cooper Jr. at 24, Zion in the 2nd round, and Ty Simpson in the 3rd round. Go Browns. Ooh.
All right, Justin, thank you for that. By the way, the weird voice sound at the beginning, every voicemail you send when you say, hey, what's up, Dogs Podcast, that comes through somehow transmitted in that really weird chipmunky voice, and then the rest of your voicemail sounds weird. It's very odd. But that's why I cut that part out a lot of times. But today I left it in just to have a little bit of fun. I like your mock, man. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm just, if the Browns were to do that and go in the 1st round and come out with Carnell Tate and Omar Cooper Jr. on night 1, you're going to see Josh running around the studio with no pants on, man. I'm going to be doing flips and somersaults. It's going to be a good time. Maybe not for you guys as viewers, but I'm going to have a blast because that is a no more pants type of situation to come out with those 2 receivers. Carnell Tate, obviously, I feel like he's a very scheme versatile player. I know he played a lot of snaps out wide at Ohio State, but that's because we didn't really need to move him around the formation as much as maybe another team would have had he played at a different school. But I think he can win at every level of the field, and clearly the downfield prowess. I mean, this guy owns the deep passing range because and Shedeur Sanders loves to go deep. This would be the perfect fit for that type of game. And then Omar Cooper Jr., while he's not a slot-only player, that's where he dominates. So you give me a guy that can dominate on the outside and win down the field and in the deep intermediate range, and then you give me a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. that's going to just be your go-to receiver over the middle areas of the field and all of that kind of stuff, I would be psyched. And it's not, I know people will say, well, you got to build the trenches first. I understand that. I understand that you need to build the trenches, but the Browns already have. And this is one note, I'll get to the rest of your mock here in a second. One note I just wanted to make about this whole offensive tackle versus wide receiver debate that's been going on. It's so difficult to gauge the value of offensive linemen versus wide receivers because clearly both are super important to how your offense functions and whether or not it's efficient. With offensive line, you have to put 5 starters out there every play. You have to have 5 starters on your team with the offensive line. That's why some guys on your offensive line will probably be Pro Bowl type players. Other guys are going to be, we had to have a guard here, so that's who we got. You have to have 5 starters. With wide receiver, it's a little bit different, and because people want me to compare. I did that whole study on wide receiver ones or second contract guys coming out the first round. They're like, well, do the same study on tackles. Not as easy. It's more complicated. There's more nuance with the offensive line because you got to have 5 starters. You're going to have very good offensive linemen who don't get a second contract with your team just because you already have a lot of your cap rolled up in 3 other linemen. This happens. It just happened to the Baltimore Ravens. Think about Tyler Linderbaum is a Pro Bowl center. One of the best centers in the whole league did not get the contract extension with the Ravens because they just couldn't do it financially. And he goes and gets a record-setting deal for a center from free agency. So it's tough. And then, if you say, well, if the guy became the starter right away or something like that with his team, does that constitute a hit? Well, if we do it that way, then Jed Wills has to be a hit for the Browns because he started immediately as a rookie and stayed the starter until he started getting injured. It's tough. It's a lot tougher with offensive line because there's more of them that you have to have and there's more that you have to start and pay. Wide receiver ones, not every team even has a wide receiver one. Every team has 5 starting linemen. Not every team has a true wide receiver one on their roster. So that's why I am more pro getting the wide receiver one at 6. You guys know for me it's Carnell Tate. But that's why that is the direction I would be much more willing to go. So moving on here, you said Zion Young, the edge rusher out of Missouri at 39. I like Zion Young. I really do. I think that would be a good pick. I think that would be sweet. I'd love to see him. I think he could come in here. He'd play behind Alex Wright to start with, but I think he could push Alex Wright. I like Zion Young quite a bit. I know Barry Shuck, Dogs by Nature, was down at the Senior Bowl, said best D lineman at the Senior Bowl was Zion Young. He didn't even talk about him, though, because he feels that he's going to go higher. Zion Young could find himself in the back of the first round, early second round. Don't know if he's there at 39. The guy I would be keeping an eye on would be R. Mason Thomas, the edge rush out of Oklahoma, because the Browns already brought him in for a top 30 visit. That was real quick. They had him in real fast. And they just signed, obviously, A.J. Epinesa to rotate in there on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. But R. Mason Thomas is a name to keep in mind for the Browns at the second round spot at 39 when they pick. And number 70, Ty Simpson. Forget about it, dude. Forget about it. Ty Simpson's not going to be available at 70. He's going first round. If he falls into the early second round, I'll be shocked. I think a team is going to take a swing on Ty Simpson in the first round. So I don't even want to discuss whatever simulator you use to get him all the way clear down at 70. Now, there's a chance it happens. Obviously, last year, everybody had Shedeur Sanders projected to go early first round, or at least in the first round at the worst. He ended up going in the 5th round. Very rare case where something like that happens. That is a true outlier. And I don't want to base any future projections on these guys off of what happened with Shedeur Sanders. That was an outlier. Very weird situation. We can still debate what happened there if we want to. But Ty Simpson, I would be I'd be shocked if he fell down the draft board and was available at 70. So I'm with you at Shedeur Sanders all in this year. Let's see what happens. If he proves to be the guy, the Browns have their prayers answered. You've got your franchise quarterback on a rookie deal, a 5th round rookie deal at that. And then you don't have to worry about messing around in the first round next year trying to get a guy. You've already got your guy. You can continue to build up the roster, which is what we need in the worst way. So all in on Shedeur. I'm with you, buddy. Thank you for the voicemail. Thank you, everybody who sent in voicemails today and messages. I got one left here, and it is another one from our guy, Gabriel.
I also wanted to send this second voicemail to tell you guys that soon I will be joining the Dogs Podcast. I just need to get some things financially straightened, and then I will actually be joining with the $10 a month because I actually want to join your guys' fantasy football. I really like fantasy football, even though I am terrible at it because I've been doing it for the last 3 years, and my combined record over those last 3 years is 20-41. So, yeah, I definitely need to get myself back together. But I just wanted to let you guys know that soon you will be seeing me in the Dog Pack Discord episodes and for fantasy football. So, go Dogs Podcast and go Browns. Ho, ho.
Gabriel, I can't wait to have you in the Dog Pack. Again, if you guys want to join like Gabriel's about to do, jointhedogs.com. It's a great way to support the show. And like he said, you get in for the fantasy football. So Gabriel, I appreciate it. Can't wait to have you in there. Fantasy football. It's coming, guys. I know it's kind of crazy. We're at the end of March here, but think about how fast time goes. We're going to hit April and it's going to be a sprint. Boom, boom, boom. We're in the draft. It's going to come that fast. And as soon as the draft is over, we're heading into May. Signups registration for fantasy football leagues in the Dog Pack will open on June 1st. So once we hit May, we're a month away from registry opening up for our fantasy leagues again. As long as you are a member of the Dog Pack, all you got to do is sign up, put your name on the list for fantasy football, and you're in. That's all you got to do. So join the Dog Pack now. Get in there. It's a great time to be part of the community with all the draft talk going on, still free agency, names being floated around, and then we're going to be debating and discussing everything about the guys at the Browns draft when then they're going to get into their rookie mini camps and stuff. So it's always something going on in the Dog Pack community. So that's at jointhedogs.com. And Gabriel, I'm going to tell you, man, that's awesome that you love fantasy. That's 3 years now. That's great. I've been playing fantasy football 20 years, probably. It's been a long freaking time. And there are definitely years where everything goes well and I'm doing really great. And there are seasons where I just flat out suck. I wanted to tell you the story real quick. I bring it up all the time. We always talk about it on the show. Mama Tendo joined the Dog Pack. Actually, it was 3 years ago. So about the same time frame that you've been playing, she's been playing, and she had never played fantasy football until she joined the Dog Pack, joined our fantasy leagues. The first season, this is how little she knew about, and she laughs about this, loves the story, how little she understood about fantasy football. She took, I believe it was David Njoku in the first round of our draft. And in the second round, she took Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's all she knew was Cleveland Browns. And so she started taking those players. She went 6-8 that first year, despite those blunders in the draft. She just didn't know what she was doing, which is totally fine. This is how you learn, and the Dog Pack is a great place. So if you've never played fantasy football, join the leagues. There's such a wide range. Again, there's people like me that have played for decades in fantasy football, and then there's people like Mama Tenda that had never played, and she said, I just want to try it for the first time. Her second year, she went 9-5 and lost in the semifinal round. You talk about a bounce back. And she was like, I was studying, I was learning who the players were and how to draft and follow the draft board and ADP and all this stuff. And she came in and dominated, kicked some tail in that second season. Lost in the semis. That was the year I won that league, by the way. Not so great last year for me. But anyway, that 2024 season was good. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning into this show today. Thank you for sending your voicemails, giving me topics to talk about. Again, I got stuff coming up for you later this week. UK Browns fan discussion, that'll be out this week. Talking about other draft picks the Browns could make, other prospects we need to at least know who they are. We'll be talking about offensive line. We're going to get Blake and Justin in here on one of these episodes and do a full YouTube live and everything. So stay tuned. A lot of great content coming out. Draft is heating up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to debate. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you guys want at 6? Where do you stand? Where do you fall on it? If you are offensive tackle at 6, tell me why and tell me who. Especially who you want over taking a very high potential to have as a wide receiver 1. Whether it's Tate, whether it's Lemon. Jordan Tyson, I don't know if you guys saw this the other day, but some medical news came out and was being, actually, I think this was last night, this all kind of popped out. Give me 1 second here, guys. My computer's running slow. I'm trying to pull this up. They said that, oh, geez, where's this at? Okay, right here. 3 months, 21 days. So roughly, we're going on 4 months since Jordan Tyson last played a football game. This is from Jeff Mueller on X. He says, according to Dane Brugler, Jordan Tyson will not be participating at his pro day
It also sounds like his hamstring may have flared up during his offseason training. And then he makes a note here at the end, just says that is quite some time for a grade 2 hamstring strain to heal. Jordan Tyson's injury history scares the ever-loving bejesus out of me. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good wide receiver. The injury stuff terrifies me. Terrifies me, especially when there is a guy like Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon that you could also take that don't have that scary injury history. And I believe very strongly both of those guys will be wide receiver ones for whichever team is fortunate enough to get them. So we'll see how things go. Again, comment, let me know your thoughts. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys later this week. And with all the content coming up, I hope your guys' weekend wraps up well. You guys start the week off great. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Let's go, Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
Craving the coffee flavor you love, but without the caffeine? Kachava's got you covered with their newest coffee flavor. This all-in-one nutrition shake delivers bold, authentic flavor crafted from premium decaffeinated Brazilian beans. Quality nutrition shouldn't be complicated. Just 2 scoops of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake, and you've got 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. Whether you're craving that coffee taste to kickstart your morning ritual, or as a nutrient-packed reward to round out your afternoon, Kachava keeps you fueled and satisfied wherever your day takes you. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. And for the times you feel like switching it up, you've got 7 flavors to choose from, all with the highest quality ingredients. Treat yourself to the flavor and nutrition your body craves. Go to kachava.com and use code NEWS. New customers get 15% off their first order. That's KACHAVA.com, code NEWS.
Thank you for calling the Bombas Comfort Line. Bombas make socks, slippers, tees, and underwear made with the highest quality materials. Press 1 for comfort, 2 for style, 3 for donation. You chose style. Bombas has styles for whatever you enjoy. You can run in Bombas, lounge in Bombas, dress them up, dress them down, but always give back in Bombas. Because with every item purchased, another is donated. Bombas, comfort worth calling for. Go to bombas.com/audio and use code audio for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code audio.